Hello, everybody. Welcome, One and Dyne, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy VI.
Here we are at part 11, and we start off with the same fight we did as in part 10.
Yep. The Grasshoppers. Familiar surroundings, anyone?
Well, it's the same background you fight on in any open area in the game.
Ah.
People are decided to message me now, but I can keep up.
People are messaging you on Skype?
Yep. But I can keep up with the commentary at the same time, especially since this is a fairly long fight upcoming.
The Baron Falls. South is Velt.
Hey, the old guy in part 9 mentioned the Velt. So we know our next destination. We just have to jump off a waterfall. I'm a reasonable woman, Dr. Frank. Now lop my head off! Movie quote.
And we fight the piranha while still falling down a waterfall.
Yep, and this is a fixed fight. You're not timed or anything like that. You just have to beat all the enemies. There are about 4 or 5 sets of piranhas and then a mini-boss. And these are easy. They can go down in 1 or 2 shots.
Yeah, but they multiply, though.
Well, not so much multiply, but just more spawn.
Okay, basically instead of multiply, they actually clone themselves.
No, it's just a huge school of piranha.
Even though we only see a certain few at a time.
Yep. 'Cause that's all the game can handle. Yeah, more just pop out of the water. Again, easy enemies. If you can't one-shot them with regular attacks, use the blitzes and sword techs. Not much else to say about this until the next part of the fight. Now, it hasn't been shown yet about Kaien's sword techniques, but here's the mini-boss, Rizapaz. But right now you'll have about 3 or 4 of 8, and you actually have to wait for it to charge up. The first level is a single strong attack against a regular enemy. Number 2 is one that will cause him to assume a stance that will deliver a powerful counterattack if he gets hit. The third one acts as the demi spell and will cut an enemy's HP in half. And the fourth one will attack 4 times against 4 different enemies. And more will be unlocked as he levels up. But yeah, this guy is easier than the Phantom Train if you don't use the Phoenix Down trick.
Yep, alright, well, and that's it for Rizopaz.
Got a couple healing items to help you get through the next portion. And a little bit of a cutscene.
Yep, where we're floating through the water.
And this is one of the few times, I think it's only one of 2 times you'll ever hear this music as it starts up. That's unique sprite. He waves to the audience. And he tries to dance on our face. Draped in monster hides, eyes shining with intelligence, a youth surviving against all odds.
Yep.
Default name is Gao. Being named after Jake the dog, I imagine.
Nope, actually it's being named for Jake Puckerman from Glee.
Okay. I was thinking Adventure Time.
I almost was going to name him Spike, but I went with Jake instead.
Now the overworld map has changed. This is the Velt. It is a place where you will fight pretty much almost every type of enemy that you have fought before, and it kind of cycles through, so it's not in a random order. But as it goes through each cycle, it'll progress, and you'll get random groups from different areas until the cycle resets. So unfortunately, you won't run into all of them at once in a single cycle. But what I kept talking about, how if you're trying to fight all the enemies in the game, they will not show up here until you fight them at least once in their original areas. And the reason for that, as to why this place is so important for that, will be explained a little bit later on.
Okay.
And unfortunately, you will not get any experience in here either. You'll only get gold and sometimes items. And that's actually something really helpful, because if you run into an enemy that was unique in a treasure chest, or say something like that, and he dropped an item in that battle, if you fight him again here, he'll drop that same item. And there's one treasure chest enemy in the Imperial camp that will drop a green beret, which is a very useful helmet for this. And if you want to take the time to get several, you can. So here's a hint.
I gotta say, in my first playthrough, I was confused as to what to do with Gao, but then after I looked it up, I finally figured it out.
Yeah, this is a bit of a puzzle, and you'll be able to learn more in town. You can't really do much right now. You have to kind of have to scare them off.
Yeah, not until we actually get to the next town, like he said.
Now, if you talk to people there, they'll help you figure out what to do.
All right.
So even though you can scare him off many times, he'll always say the same thing.
Yeah, and now we're in Mobliz.
Mobliz, actually.
Oh, Mobliz. Okay. I was wondering how you pronounce that.
Yep, and you actually do not have to use the inn here. There's a free healing inside the relic shop. Just have to walk into the bed there. And when I was talking about doing this scenario last, every party member who can join you will show up in the shop, so you can see who needs to get what. And you must upgrade your equipment here. You'll only have one more chance after this, but this is the better place to do it, because you can get more gold from the enemies rather than the next town where you can upgrade your equipment. Definitely a must. Because after this scenario, you will not have a chance to do so again before a major battle.
And I'm getting a few things.
Yep. Always good to upgrade the equipment whenever you can.
Yeah, but as I stated earlier, it's like some equipment doesn't show that many stat changes, so that's what throws me off when trying to buy new equipment.
Now, there are times when just even a little difference can save your bacon. You may notice that Gao is in there, even though he hasn't joined yet. Of course, the fact that he had a naming screen is the big indication that he will join up.
Yeah.
But if you have to upgrade weapons or armor, go with weapons. As you talk to people in town, they'll tell you about the wild kid outside and how he reacts to certain different things. Yep, right there.
So they were talking about Gao.
Yep.
Ah, okay.
And that guy outside the item shop was talking about what happened with some dried meat, which you do need to buy here. Yeah, it's actually a fairly decent healing item for this point in the game, because it restores 150 HP. It's half as powerful as a potion, but heals a little more for half the price of the potion. Let's see. There's more people talking about the local area and where you need to go next.
Yeah.
Always good to talk to everybody in town when you get to a new area. Now there is a little bit of a side quest here. Unfortunately, it does get a little expensive. If you talk to this guy, So he went AWOL from the Imperial Army because he didn't support the invasion of Doma, and the poor guy just got beaten to within an inch of his life. Alright, you read the letters out loud to him.
Yeah. So worried, I wish I could fly to your side. Rest me to know I think about you constantly.
Now, if you talk to him, he'll say he wants to get better so he can go home. And if you go to the post office, you can send a letter in his name, and that'll start a little bit of a side quest where you'll send and receive letters based on in different items based on what Lola requests in her letters. And at the end, he'll give you a very useful relic.
Okay. Was it the sprint shoes or white cape?
Nope. It's actually called a Tintinabar. It will heal you as you walk around on the overworld map. Very useful. Very expensive otherwise. But if you just walk into that bed, it's free healing. No need to use the inn at all.
Yeah, those free healing spots make the use of inns rather pointless, though.
Well, later on, it comes in handy. And those two were just a young couple in love.
Dwayne and Katrine. And that's all we know about them is that they're in love. Nothing else.
Yep.
That doesn't make for interesting characters. We only know one thing about them.
Yeah, we'll see them again later.
What, are they like Romeo and Juliet in a way?
No. It doesn't end in tragedy for him. That's all I can say now.
No, I mean, like, do they have different feuding families like Romeo and Juliet?
Nope. So here's the guy who basically tells you how to recruit Gao. So you need some dried meat, and when he shows up, you have to give him some.
Yeah, well, at one point I do end up buying dried meat. I don't remember if it's here or in the next part.
Well, unfortunately, you don't have enough for it.
Yeah, so it might be in the next part.
Dwayne Kenrin, the relic shop again. Still can't afford anything, so gotta sell stuff. Best thing to do is sell old equipment. Those Regal cutlasses sell for a good price, thankfully. Usually you do not want to sell any relics unless you know you can buy it again later. Now if you talk to that guy right there, you can just send it. Now, normally you have to go fight a few battles or something, but there is a trick. If you just go to the relic shop or the item shop and open the menu, open the store menu, and then back out, the next letter will immediately arrive.
Okay.
But you have to go back and talk to the soldier and read the letter once it does arrive to continue that. Yeah, this part's a little tricky to figure out on your first time through, but once you know it, it goes by quickly. Yeah, so there's a new letter for him already.
Yep.
If you talk to him,
looks like the postal service in Mobliz is pretty fast.
Pretty good for carrier pigeon. So if you talk to him again, he just laments his current situation, and you can just go to the post office and send what she asked for. You do that about 4 or 5 times before he finally ends. guy hiding in on the left there. Don't remember what he says. However, we are coming up to the end of this part.
Alright, until next time, this is Gold League Gamer 1 and Dyne. Later, folks.
Bye, guys.